Hey kiddos, welcome to lesson 10.1 in math. We are going to be starting telling time. We're going to be doing it in 3 days, so there's just a lot to learn in this one lesson, and we just need to unpack everything. So the first thing is make sure that you've watched the brain pops before you watch this video. Otherwise, you're going to be missing out on a lot of really good information that is in that brain pop. But before we start actually telling time with our clocks, I just want to go over a clock and kind of how it works. So our hour hand is always going to be the shorthand. Think of the word hour. It's H-O-U-R. Hour is a shorter word than the word minute. So an hour hand is always shorter than the minute hand. Now, when we're using the hour hand is always going to tell us the hour. It's always going to be either 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Those are going to be our hour hands. Now, if it's in between an hour, like this red hand, our hour hand is in between the hour, we always go back. So this hour is actually 12. If I moved it right here, it's not yet on the 4. It's actually in between, so the hour is actually 3. So that's something to remember, is that if it's not yet on the hour, it's actually that. So sometimes kids get this super confused, and they think that it is 10 o'clock. Well, it's not 10 o'clock yet, because until this minute hand hits that 12, it is actually still 9. So be very cautious. That's what kids mess up the most, is that hour hand. So the hour, if it's in between, it always goes back to the previous hour. So this is actually 9 o'clock. It's not yet 10 o'clock. So that's kind of how hours work. It's either right on the hour, or if it's in between, you always go back to that hour. Now, how does the minute hand work? Well, the minutes, we always count by 5s. So if it's here, it's always 0, 0. If it's at the 1, it's 5, 10. If it's at the 2, 3, it's 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and then 60. But when we get to the top, it is always 0, 0. So that's something to remember. It's always 0, 0. So now, if it's in between, we're going to be telling to the nearest minute today. So let's say that it is here. I'm going to count by 5s and then count on. So it would be 5, 10, and then these little notches are 1. So it's 10, 11, 12. So then if I moved it over here, let's say right here, I'm going to count by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and then I'm going to count on 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. All right, so that's what we're going to be working on today, is telling time to the nearest minute. I'm going to go ahead and put myself in the corner. You need to please get out the paper that says Day 1, 10.1, and we are going to be doing the one that looks like this. The hour is right here, so make sure you have the right sheet out. All right, kiddos, so we have this sheet here, and first we're going to be doing our hour. Let's write some notes first. So let's write the word hour, H-O-U-R. Everybody write the word hour. And then we're going to write that it equals the shorthand. Okay, it's always good to take notes, because then if you get stuck, you can look up at your notes. So the hour is the shorthand. Let's write minute. And we're going to write equals long. Okay, so our hour is the shorthand, our minutes are long. We always count by 5, so you could put that in parentheses too, and that can be super helpful for you. So an hour is the shorthand, our minutes are always long, and we always count by 5s. So let's look at this first clock here. What is our hour? Well, our shorthand is always the hour. This is our minutes, this is our hour. So I like to draw a line here, and that can be helpful to you. So it's in between the 9 and the 10. So our hour always goes back to whatever it is previously. So our hour here is 9. It's not yet 10. So for our hour, we write 9. When we're telling time, we always write what's called a colon. 2 dots always mean a colon. All right, now we're going to work on our minutes, which that's where kids tend to have the most problems. we always count by fives. So we have to count by fives until we get to the dot that's right here. So we start at the 12 and we count by fives. 5, 10. Now can we go 15? No, we can't go 15 because of that 3. So I can go right here, and that is 10. But then I can count on. So I'm at 10, 11, 12, 13. It is 9:13. So right now it is 9:13. All right, let's do our next one. First we do our hour. Let's look at our notes. Our hour is our shorthand. So look here, which one of these is short? This one. So I'm going to extend my hour. My hour is between 2 and 3. So what's the hour? We always go back. So our hour is 2. All right, now let's look at our minutes. Our minutes is the longhand. Remember, minute is a longer word. So our minute is our longhand. It's right on that 8. So if it's right on, all I have to do is count by fives. We're going to start at the 12 and we're going to count by fives. Here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So that is going to be 240. All right, let's look at our next one. All right, which one is our hour hand? Our hour hand is always the short one. So this is our short one. So our hour is what? Our hour is right at the 6. So we're going to write that the hour is at the 6 with a colon. Now, what are our minutes? I said that our minutes we needed to count by fives, but it's not at the 5 yet, so I can't count by fives. When I'm at the 12, 12 is always double 0. So when I start at 12, I need to count by 1. So I go 1, 2. Now, do I just write 2 here? No. In the ones place, you are always to have 2 digits. So I don't just write 2. I must write 0, 2. It is 602. All right, kiddos, let's look at the next one. What's our hour hand? Our hour hand is always the shorthand. So my shorthand is right at that 10. My shorthand is at the 10. So it is 10. And then write your colons. And then for our minute hands, we need to count by fives, and it's always the longest hand. So let's count by fives. I can go 5. Can I go 10? No, that hand's not on there. So I have to stop at 5, and then I need to count my dots. So I have 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8. Now we have to be careful. If you just write 8 like that, it is wrong. I must always have 2 digits. So I need to write 0, 8. 0, 8. Make sure you guys have 2 digits there. All right, let's look here. Now this is where the kids are tricky. Let's look. Draw your line here. Is it on that 8 yet? Is it on the 8? No, it is not, and that's what kids miss. They want to say that that hour is 8. It is not on the 8. So it is actually 7 o'clock. It's only 7. It is not going to be 8 o'clock yet until this minute hand hits that 12. So unless it's at the 12 or behind, you have to go back that hour. All right, is it right on the 10? No, it isn't. So we need to first count by fives, and then we're going to count by ones. So start at the 12, and let's count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Now, we are at 50 right here. Then it is 51. 51. 7, 51. All right, let's do another one. Let's look at this paper. So what is our hour? Our hand, look at our notes, is the short hand. So which one is short? This one is short. And the shorthand never touches the numbers. That's another clue too. So it is past the 12. So if I extend my, it is 8 o'clock. So it is 8, colon. And then let's look. Is it right on a number? It's not right on a number. So I'm going to count by fives and stop. Now, can I count to 3? No, I can't do that because it's not there yet. So I'm going to count by fives because remember, the minute hand, we count by fives. Here we go. 5, 10. So we're at 10. and we go 11 and 12. We're at that 12. So it is 8, 12. All right, kiddos, let's keep going. So let's look here. Is it past the 12? It is. It's past the 12, so it's a new hour. So what's my hour? My hour is 4. All right, good job. All right, now, can I count by 5s on this one? 5? No, I can't count by 5s because it's not on that yet. So I need to count my dots. 1, 2, 3. It is 3. Oops, is that right? Is that how we write 403? No, we must write a 0 here because remember, it must have 2 digits. It must have 2 digits. All right, this one is tricky for kiddos, so pay very, very close attention. All right, so let's look. Our hour is always the shorthand. So what's our shorthand? Our shorthand's here. Now, do you think the hour is 12 o'clock? Most kids do. Most kids think that it is 12 o'clock and it is not 12 o'clock, and here's why. This minute hand has not yet hit this 12. And because it has not hit that 12, it is not yet 12 o'clock. So even though it looks like it is 12 o'clock, until this hits this, it is not 12 o'clock. It's actually only 11. Okay? So you have to be super cautious with that because a lot of kids want to say that it is 12 o'clock, and that is incorrect. So it is 11. Now we need to count by 5s. Remember, for our minutes, we must count by 5s. We're going to count to here, and then we're going to count by 1. So it goes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. Now we must count by 1. 56, 57, 58. We are at 11:58. All right, kiddos, let's look at the next one. So let's look at this clock here. What is our hour? Let's look at our notes. Our hour is always the shorthand. The hour is always the shorthand. So our shorthand on this clock is this one right here. I draw my extension. It's between 4 and 3. So what is my hour? My hour would be 3. All right. Now what are my minutes? My minutes are my longhand, and I need to count by 5s. So here's my minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. That one is 3:40. Now, kiddos, you should notice that I have 2s on this paper. We're actually going to be doing the number 2 on the next day in math, okay? So we don't want to lose this paper. Make sure that you're keeping this in a really, really safe place. We're going to do one more sheet of practice, and then you are going to do a paper for a grade. All right, so our hour hand is always the shorthand. So what's the shorthand here? Our shorthand is here. Now, do you think that the hour is 12? Well, if you do, you're actually wrong, okay? Because it is not 12 o'clock until this minute hand hits that 12, okay? And so it cannot be 12 yet. So what is my hour? My hour is going to be 11. It cannot be 12 until it moves. All right, kiddos, what are my minutes? I'm going to count by 5s, and that's going to be my minutes. So let's go ahead and count by 5s. Are you ready? Here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Now I need to count on by 1. 51, 52. I am at 11:52. All right, kiddos, let's keep going. We're doing good. All right, what is my hour hand? My hour hand is always the shorthand. It never touches the numbers. So my hour is right at 4. So my hour hand is at 4. What are my minutes? Well, I have to count by 5s. Now, can I go to 10? No, I'm not there yet. So I start at the 12 and I count by 5s. 5, and then we count our minutes. 6, 7. So if I write 4-7, is that correct? No, we have to remember, we have to have 2 spaces in that minutes hand. So we have to write 4:07 or 4-7. 4:07. All right, kiddos. Next one. All right, what's the hour? The hour is a shorthand. It never touches your numbers. So my hour is 7. So I write 7. All right, what's my minutes? Well, can I count to 5 here? No, I cannot. I can't. It's not on that 1 yet. So I can't count by 5s. When I do my minutes, I count by 5s. So I have to count by 1s. Let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4. So I write that down. Is that right? No, I must remember to write 7:04. 7:04. All right, kiddos, 6 more. Here's this one. Let's look. My hour hand's a shorthand. It never touches my numbers, so this one is my shorthand. It's between the 6 and the 7. So it's going to go back, and it's going to be 6. Okay? And if you wanted to extend that out, you can see there, it's between, so it goes back to the 6. Now, can I count by 5s to my 8? No, I cannot. I have to stop at 7 and then count by 1s. Here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and then I count by 1s. 36, 37, 38. So that time is 6:38. All right, moving on, kiddos. This one. What is the time? What is the hour? The hour is always the shorthand. It never touches the numbers. So my hour is 12. All right, what are my minutes? Can I go all the way to 3? No, I cannot. It's not all the way on the 3. So I'm going to go 5, 10, and then I'm going to go 11, 12, 13, 14. 12, 14. All right, next one. Which one is my hour hand? My hour hand is always the short hand. It never touches the numbers. So my hour hand is right here. Okay, and so my hour is 8. And what are my minutes? Is it exactly on a number? No, it's not. So I need to stop at 2 and then count on. So we count by 5s when we do minutes. 5, 10, 11, 12. So it is 8, 12. 8, 12. All right, 3 more, kiddos. Let's look at our next one. All right, our hour hand is always the shorthand. Which one is our hour? Right here. So my hour is 10. All right, what's my minutes? My minutes is right on that number. It's right on that number, so I'm going to count by 5s. 5. Now remember, I don't just write 5. That's not correct. I have to write 0, 5. Okay, I have to hold that place value because in time, I have to have 2 numbers in my minutes column. All right, here we go, kiddos. What's the hour? Now be very cautious here. Who thinks that the hour is 3? Okay, if you think the hour is 3, that's actually not right, okay, because it's not going to be 3 o'clock until this minute hand hits that 12. Okay, so you have to be super careful. It's not even touching. If I extend that line, it's not even touching that 3 yet. So the hour is actually 2. My hour is actually 2. Be very cautious with that because a lot of kids are going to want to say it's 3 o'clock and it is not. All right, is it right on the 9? No, it's not right on the 9. So I'm going to count by 5s and I have to stop at that 8 and then count on. So here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So right now I'm at 40 and I'm going to count on. 41, 42, 43, 44. I'm at 44. So it's 2:44. All right, kiddos, let's do our last one, and then you're going to do it for a grade, okay? So be very cautious here. So which one is our hour? Our hour is always our shorthand. So right here, let's extend that line. Is it on the 10 yet? No, it is not. So it is actually 9 o'clock. We go backwards. So it's actually 9 o'clock. And then what's our hour? Or minutes, excuse me, our minutes. Well, is it right on that 9? No, it is not. So we are going to count by 5s and stop the 8. Here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. That one was 9:44. Kiddos, if you are struggling with this, we ask that you ask your parents to help you tell time because it is something that we're going to build on. And if you don't understand this part, life is going to be really, really difficult. Please make sure that you guys don't lose these 2 papers because we are going to be using these 2 papers tomorrow. So it's really, really important that you have these papers. So put them in a really safe place, and we're going to use these tomorrow. And now you guys can work on your puzzle piece. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.